Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Landhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaധ്യായിനിം Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter. We shall chant the first three verses together. अथ नवमोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं तु ते गुह्यतमम् प्रवक्ष्याम्यनसूयवे ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितम् यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात् राजविद्या राजगुह्यम् पवित्रमिदमुत्तमम् प्रत्यक्षावगमम् धर्म्यम् सुसुखम् कर्तुमव्ययम् अश्रद्धधानाः पुरुषाः धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि. In the beginning of this 9th chapter itself, which is titled as the greatest knowledge and the royal secret, Bhagavan has indicated what is the subject matter, who is a qualified student who would be able to benefit out of study of this knowledge, and who would not be able to benefit. And it was indicated that the one who gives up the tendency of faults finding and works with faith, pursues this knowledge with the faith in the scripture, faith in the teacher, and faith in oneself, and the one who is committed to walking this path, having confidence that this is possible for me, it can be imparted, and I can gain this, and it is the greatest secret. Means at the moment, very few people know of it. But I can also gain this knowledge. So that way, one who approaches this knowledge will be able to benefit out of this knowledge. Okay. So now, through these three verses, what Bhagavan has achieved is he has been able to capture the attention of Arjun. One of the most important and sometimes difficult role of a teacher is to get the complete attention of the student or the listener, because there can be so many different reasons for the wanderings of the mind. It could be something that's happening around, or it could be something related to the mind only, very internal. I only suddenly get distracted. So, for a teacher to get the entire attention is important, and that is why first he has glorified this knowledge, and now he is coming to the main subject matter. What is this royal secret, the greatest of all knowledge? What is this? So, in the verses 4 and 5, he is indicating this knowledge, and in the sixth verse, he is giving an example just to help us understand. So, first, let us read verses 4 and 5. Please repeat. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavhyaktamurtina मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थितः न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः ममात्मा भूतभावनः. Some people get scared. But bhuta means that which exists, any creature. We are all bhuta only. So, this, let us first see the word meanings. And the word meanings will confuse us. So, it is good. Then, after that, we will try and reflect more on it. So, first, idam sarvam jagat, this entire universe, maya avyakta murtina tatam, is pervaded by me, who is unmanifest. So, this whole world is pervaded by me, who am unmanifest. Right? Then, second statement, matsthani sarva bhutani. All these beings exist in me. First, this whole world is pervaded by me. Means, in simpler words, I am in this world. Second statement, this world is in me. This much itself is enough. Still, two more statements are coming. Third statement, nachaham teshu avastita. I am not in this world. Hmm? Fourth statement, this world is not in me. Nacha matstani bhutani. Four statements. First, I pervade this whole universe, means I am in everything, every being. Second statement, all beings are in me. Third statement, I am not in these beings or in this world. Fourth statement, no being is in me. First, I know, first doubt will be, Swamiji, are you sure? Did you properly read this? Did you prepare for the class today, or you just said you have a cup of tea, so it is on us now? Huh? All these four statements, appearing to be mutually contradictory, are real, are factual. That is why it is called knowledge. Now, let us first take an example and understand the four statements. Then we will come to the principle. Okay. We all have seen clay pots. Yes. Pots made up of clay, mud, porcelain, something. You've seen pots? What is there in the pot? Now, in the pot does not mean what is the content of the pot. If it is empty, we say it is empty. If it is filled with water or it is filled with milk, it is filled with some, so whatever it may be, that is not what we are talking about the content. But what is it that pervades the pot? Mud or clay, whatever, right? So the clay pervades the pot. One pot or all pots? All pots pervaded by the same clay. Same clay means it is clay only which is in all these forms. Yes? So, first statement is what? Let us imagine the mud is saying this with respect to the pots, that I am in all pots. Understood? Nothing wrong? Yes? There are various waves in the ocean, right? So, each ocean, let us say the water is making this statement and is saying, I am in every wave. Anything wrong so far? Fine. Gold, various ornaments. When gold has to say about itself, then what will gold say? I am in every ornament. So, all ornaments are pervaded by me. Similarly, all waves are pervaded by me. All pots are pervaded by me. So, clear? First statement, we all agree? We have to approve. Okay. Second statement. What is second statement? Everything is in me. Now, if we think, is clay in the pot or is pots are pots in the clay? From the standpoint of the pot, it seems that if I start my inquiry from the pot and say, what is this pot made up of? Then I say it's clay. So then I say this pot is pervaded by clay. But if I look at clay and try to understand what is its relationship with the pot, where is my attention? On the clay. Okay. Now clay is more or pots are more? There are so many, there is so much of clay of which pots are not made yet. Right? So there is a lot of clay, some pots are there. So what is in what? Change of vision. The statement remains the same. The pot is still made up of clay only. But earlier, what was my center of attention? That was the pot. And from the that standpoint, I said clay is in the pot. Clay pervades the pot. But from the standpoint of clay, when I look at it, then I find that all pots are in clay. Yes? So when the pot is about to be created, it is in the form of a lump. Then the potter on the wheel, he shapes it. Ah, now pot has come. Now, then it breaks at some point. When it breaks, again it goes back to same clay mud only, right? So actually, the journey is of the pot, not of the clay. The clay is as it is only. So the pot is in the clay appearing, and then so whether it is pre-birth, during its lifetime, and after death of the pot, the clay is the foundation. The pot comes and goes. So all pots are in the mud or clay from the standpoint of examining the mud, right? Same way, water is in the waves or waves are in the water, because there is a lot of water in the oceans which is not in the form of waves, but on that surface of ocean, which is nothing but water, there are some waves which are seen. So who is in whom? If I examine the ocean, if I look at water, then I find waves are in water. But if I am looking at waves, then I will say every wave is filled with water or made up of water. Same way, ornaments, as long as I am looking at the ornament, I say this is made up of gold. Means there is gold in this. But when I look at gold, then what happens? I find the ornaments, and not only the ornament which is I have in front of me, all ornaments in the whole world exist in gold. Clear? Although looking contradictory, with example we are able to say, okay, so Lord Krishna is not stoned or anything. He is sober only. He is not. No, it's not a printing mistake or anything. It's fine. Okay. Okay, two statements done. Can we move to the third one? Yes, third. Third one, what is the third statement? I am not in this world. Same mud and pot. If we have to say, we just accepted the statement, all pots exist in mud or clay. All pots exist in clay, and then if immediately we follow it up with the statement, the clay does not exist in pots. What does that mean? What is the standpoint? We understand if there are contradictory statements which are true, then there has to be difference in standpoints, right? For example, this, all of us, we would have all seen some videos and all. Okay, what is the color of my, no, hand I have extended? So this side people will say it is white, this side will say dark and all. They'll, no, but actually what each one is seeing is different. Both are correct. So from the standpoint of the pot, clay is in the pot. From the standpoint of the mud, pot is in the clay, right? Now which is this third standpoint? Because two things are only there, clay and pot. And now you are making the third statement saying that now I am not in that. Means the mud is saying, the clay is saying, I am not in the pots. What does it mean? Whenever we say, for example, this, there is water in this, there is. Okay. There is water in this. Okay, please trust me for some time. Later on you can check. But now there is water in this. Okay, what does it mean? This, the cup cannot, like, sorry, this cup can exist without water, but can water stand without the cup? No. So what is that called? The water is in the cup. Means what? The cup can exist without water, but the water cannot stand this way without the cup. The cup is on the table. What does that mean? If you remove the cup, table is not affected by it. Maybe it is feeling little bit of less weight, so it is thanking for some time. But if we remove the table, the cup will not stand here. It will go down, gravity, right? So when I say something is in or on something, I am sitting on the chair. If I get up and go away, chair is not going to be affected at all. But if I have to sit, I need a chair. Without that, I can't sit. So which means something is in something indicates dependence. Something is in something indicates that that which is the base or the foundation affects that which is supported. But without that which is supported, the support can remain. So now from that standpoint, what is the statement? The clay says, I am not in the pots. Means what? My existence does not depend on the pot. Whether I am in the shape of a pot or not, my existence is independent. Whereas, can the pot say this? Huh? Because without clay, what will happen? There is no pot. So, if there has to be a pot, there has to be clay. But if there has to be a clay, do we say that there has to be a pot? Not necessarily. So, from this standpoint, the third statement, the clay is not in the pot, means it is not dependent on the existence in that shape. Same way, water is not in the waves. If no waves, does it threaten the existence of water? No. But no water, can waves exist? No. Same way, gold ornaments. Golden ornaments will not exist without gold. No, no, we have, without gold also we have ornaments. No, golden ornaments without gold is not possible. Except one mathematics professor found some solution, but his illiterate wife also was not impressed by his solution. Because he was a very great algebra professor. So he said, I found, typically in stories and all, people who are very knowledgeable don't have money. Somehow, I don't know, Saraswati, Lakshmi ji don't come together somehow. At least in stories, it is like that. So this person was not very well off. So one day he was working out something, suddenly called his wife. His wife was not so educated and all. She came, what is it? I have found a solution. I never thought mathematics solved our problems. Financial problem solved. Mathematics. How is that? She said, in the mind, she said, amuse me. But outside, she was showing very, very respectfully. Okay, tell me, what is it? So he said, for that, you will have to understand little bit of mathematics. What is it? A plus B minus A. What will happen? A and minus A get cancelled. What remains? B, right? A plus B minus A cancel. What remains? B. You understood? Said yes, understood. So now, Now it is time for application. What is application? You know, your mother gave you that gold chain, yes, which you brought after our wedding, yes, gold chain. From that, I will only go and sell the gold. Gold cancel. Chain will remain. I will return the chain to you. You can keep wearing your chain, and we will all our financial problems will be solved. Nice, good, good solution. Like this only the wife also gave her expression. She said, "Yeah, nice. You want coffee? Okay." Because coffee helps in getting down the hangover and all. So I don't know if it helps or not. I just said something. Anyway, but uh, when we take out the cause, the effect, there is no effect. Cause is not dependent on the effect, but the effect is dependent on the cause. So when here the statement is made, the third statement, I am not in anything, means my existence does not depend on anything. So first one was pervasiveness from the standpoint of the world. Second one is from the standpoint of, here Bhagavan is saying, or the cause. Third is from the standpoint of its dependence for existence. So the effect is dependent on the cause, but nachaham teshu avastitaha. So the clay says, I am not in the pot. The gold says, I am not in the ornaments. The water says, I am not in the waves. Means I don't depend on them for my existence. Fourth. What does fourth say? They are not in me. Means all this, the world is not in me. Let's use the example only still. Clay pot. First clay said, I am in pots. Second said, pots are in me. Third said, I am not in pots. Till this much we understand, we agree. Fourth one, pots are not in me. How is that possible? How is that possible? Ready for little more thinking? Little more. What is a pot? What is a pot? If we say manufacturing or creation of a pot, it is created from clay. What is really created? Because what is pot made up of? Clay. That clay is already there. So what is made up? What is the new creation? What has come about? Because lump also is called clay. Pot is also clay only, no? There is nothing else. It is just clay, right? So what is created? There is a shape or a form which we call as pot, right? When there is a form, only then name comes. Pot came into existence because there was a shape which was supposed to be called. That is why we all also got our names only after birth, or at least after we were detected. Something is there. When it comes out, I don't know what will happen, but let us call this some name. So only after the form comes up that the name is given. So pot name is given to the form. So what is born? The form. What is pot? Clay part is already there. So form only. Okay. Agreed. So far, are we all together? Can we move? Forward? Okay. So, clay part is already there. It is only the form that has been born, which we call as pot. Now, this form which we are seeing of the pot, is that form already present in clay or not? Is it there in clay or not? Is it potentially in clay or not? Potentially. You didn't ask potentially. You didn't ask potentially. Okay. Potentially it was there. If it was not there, you can never make a pot out of it. It was potentially there, therefore it is possible to shape it into a pot. Otherwise, it's not possible. In school and all, we used to have this classes on metals and all. Chemistry, very difficult to. So metals, and they will put that what are the properties of these metals. So physical properties, chemical properties, and all these things. So physical property, we all, because it is very difficult to remember everything. So we had some tricks. What we did was that which was most repetitive, we will remember two or three words. And anything comes in exam, we'll write those. Because that will be the most probable answer. It will rarely be wrong. So especially copper, gold, all these things. I still remember. See, that trick works till now. Nothing else I remember. One word is malleable, and second is ductile. I did not know what it means, but it was there in most of the metals. So we used to write that. That was one of the things we used to write everywhere. Any metal physical property, these two words will be there. Learn the spellings also perfectly. So out of 10, 8 will be right. Malleable, ductile. Later on, I understood what it means. Ductile means you can draw them into wires, and malleable means you can make sheets out of them. Correct? No, not other way around. Anyway, doesn't matter now. But the important point is when we say copper is malleable and ductile, which means what? There is a hidden sheet inside copper and there is a hidden wire inside copper. You can make it into that because it is already there. Is a stone malleable or ductile? No, it is not. Why? Because that those shapes are not there in that stone already. If it was there, we could have shaped them into that. So, which means clay has pot potentially inside. Potable mud, physical property of mud. Don't write in exam, okay? This is now only coined. Potable, clay, vaseable, means it can you can make a vase out of it. Vaseable. So potentially these shapes exist in the clay, therefore it can be made into that shape. Now coming back to the question, then what is created? Because shape was also already there. Clay is not created, it is already there. You said shape is created, but shape is also already there. Then what is created? What we are left with is only name, pot. But what is pot? Another name for clay. Correct? Did anything come? Is there a pot separate from clay? The shape is already there. Even if it is a lump, the pot shape is inside. It is hidden now. When the potter works on it, it manifests. It's hidden. So the pot is also there, clay is also there. So there is nothing. So now, if from this standpoint, the clay is asked, what is your relationship with pots? What will the clay say? There is no pot. Nothing is in me. In me means two. but there is no second, because there is no pot separate from me. Because what you call as a pot is merely a shape, and that shape potential is already existing in me. So there is nothing called pot separate from me. So therefore, nothing is there in me. Got it? Got it or not got? Not got. Let us take second example. That is why three examples are there to help me. So we can repeat three times. Waves, water. Okay. What is created on the surface of the ocean? Wave. What is wave? Water plus shape is equal to wave. Right? Water plus shape is equal to wave. Water is already there. Before the wave is born, after the wave dies, wave, the water is already there. So water is not born. Shape, potential is there in the water. So which means it's not nothing new is coming out. So if the water has to say, the waves are in me, which waves? And waves in me means two. So there is this wave, there is water, and this wave is in water. What is the meaning of that? So there is no water and wave separate. It's just one. From that standpoint of oneness, nothing exists in me. Gold, same like clay, possible to make into ornaments. Potentially ornaments, all the shapes are there in gold. When the shape manifests, we give it names, ring and necklace and anklet and whatnot, all these different names of ornaments. So all these ornaments are already in gold hidden. So neither gold is created nor any new shape which was not there in gold is created. So therefore, it is only the name ornament that has come into being, which is not separate from gold. So if the gold says there is no ornament in me, means what? It is essentially me only. There is nothing else other than. So four statements clear. Standpoints are different. All are true. But when we say four statements which are mutually appearing to be contradictory and we say that all are true, then we have to only look at it from the correct standpoint. We will understand the truth of it. And this is actually a this is the highest philosophy, the greatest knowledge, the royal secret that Bhagavan is giving. But this is what is also a very transactional thing in our day to day life also. If two people are arguing, what is needed is just change your standpoints. You will see the truth of everyone whatever is speaking. And once we know, then there is no conflict. On one end, the world is creating weapons to establish peace. I have nuclear bomb. For what? For peace. And here there is a ready-made knowledge. What investment do you need in this? And this knowledge is capable, and not even from the philosophical standpoint. I'm just saying, just a very practical standpoint of just get to know other viewpoints and perspectives. Half of the arguments and quarrels will be ended, because we will understand the truth of the statement from that standpoint. White or black, I will know. And as soon as I know, conflicts have ended. So we have big seminars, should have compassion, empathy, understand others. Only so practically given. So this is one of the very important thing, very transactionally also. But getting back to philosophy, getting back to the concept that is being explained here, the knowledge that is imparted here, said, when I say Maya tatamidam jagat avyaktamurtina, when Bhagavan is saying this, The statement is very, very important, and each and every word is very beautiful. He says, Jagat. Jagat means the universe. What is the definition of Jagat or universe? Given here only. What is the definition? Idam. Small word. Idam means this. Everything known as this is called universe. Everything that is known or that can be known as this, idam, is called Jagat, universe. So, what is universe? Anything. So, when we say all the objects of the world known as this, no, 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 some of them I know as that also. But that is relative. You go and stand there, it will become this. So, that and this can be interchanged. So, every that can become this, every this can become that. But the world is this and that only. So, this, okay, all objects. Coming to closer, physical body, this body, we use this in our day to day conversation also. This body is really grown very old. Every day there is news bulletin. News bulletin means what? Today what is there? Where it is paining. Because pain doesn't leave, it only changes places. So today latest, आज की ताजा खबर. Today latest, today knee pain. Yesterday where was it? Yesterday it was in the thighs. So then the people will be there to predict also. Tomorrow it will go to the calves. Then feet. After that it will go away. No, then again start from head. So this body, idam, this is also universe. This is Jagat. Okay. Mind. We use this for mind also. This mind is not, this mind cannot sit in one place. 1 hour, 7 to 8 p.m. only, 1 hour. Because this mind goes everywhere but here. This mind. Okay. Intellect. Intellect, the seat of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, analysis, creativity. Intellect. Here also, there is this. Now this has stopped working. Some people have timings also. After 10 p.m., don't ask me to think because this is switched off. So this intellect, we use it. We may not use it, speak that aloud. Uh, Sometimes we say my intellect, my buddhi, we say like that, your buddhi. But then that my, your, it actually is this. What is the opposite of this? As per grammar, the opposite of this is that. Opposite means it's not an antonym, but in the usage, we go this, that. Which is near is this, which is far is that. But from spiritual standpoint, opposite of this is not that because this and that are interchangeable. So the opposite of this is I. Because I can never be experienced as this. And this can never be experienced as I. So opposite of this is I. Now here Bhagavan is making the statement, this Jagat, indirectly telling us what is Jagat? This, known as this, is pervaded by Tatam idam sarvam. By what? Maya, by me. I. Now what is this I? Body, this. Mind, this. Intellect, this. Now what remains? They say nothing remains over. So there is no I. The one who enlivens this body, mind, intellect, the one who illumines this body, mind, intellect, the one who knows this body, mind, intellect, that consciousness is referred to as I, which can be known only as I and never as this. This distinction is made in the first line of the fourth verse. That this, which is the universe, is pervaded by me, I, the consciousness. The world is known as this, consciousness can be known only as I. It can never become the object of whether my sense organs, my mind, my intellect, nothing. It can never become the object. I, the consciousness. So this world is pervaded by consciousness. Now, where is this consciousness? Can you show me? Is it possible to show me consciousness? I don't believe in all this consciousness and all. Show me, then I will believe. If it can be shown, it will become this. So what is shown is world only. So then, what is I? It can never be shown. That is why it is said here, Avyakta Murtina. Avyakta Murtina is never available for the senses to experience, never available for even the mind and intellect to comprehend. It can never become the object of an experience because it is the supreme experiencer, illuminator, knower, seer. So avyakta is translated as unmanifest. But what does unmanifest mean? Can never become the object of our instruments, body, mind, intellect. So this consciousness pervades the entire world. Now, right now, I just use the word this consciousness. Means this is a statement of ignorance because consciousness can never become this. But for language purpose, for communication purpose, sometimes we use. Now, why am I making it into a point? You never noticed that I said this consciousness. I should have just kept quiet. Why did I bring it and make it a point? Because we have to understand something in the next verse for that only. So, park it aside, we'll come to it again. But for now, I, consciousness, pervade this world. Clear? First statement. Clear? First statement is clear. Okay. So if I want to meet consciousness, where to meet? Go to the Himalayas and sit there. And where to look? Look within. If you have to look within, look here only, no? Why do you have to go all the way to all? So many sages and all have done austerities there, so there will be vibrations there. So all this, whatever external we are looking for, is part of Jagat. I am not saying it is not useful. It is useful. For example, when we, there is a place of prayer and we go there, automatically the mind becomes calm and it is able to pray better than other places. If I sit at my dining table and want to pray, it may not happen. The praise spelling will change. P-R-A-Y will not happen. P-R-E-Y will happen. So that place has its importance and its effect, it helps, no doubt about it, but it is not a necessary condition. What is more important to look at is to meet consciousness. Where do I meet? The point is, where is it not? Why? Because consciousness pervades everything, the whole universe. So, everywhere, any place can be a gateway to consciousness, within and without. First statement. Second statement. This first statement is from the standpoint of the Jagat, from the standpoint of the world. In this universe, where is consciousness? Everywhere. So consciousness pervades this whole world. From the perspective of the consciousness, what is its relationship with the world? From the perspective of the clay, all pots are in the clay. From the perspective of the gold, all ornaments are in the gold. From the perspective of water, all waves are in water. From the perspective of consciousness, all beings, this whole world are in it. Because it is the superset, it is the foundation, it is the support. This is only there, much smaller. That is why in the Veda also it is said, talking about the entire creation. They said that this consciousness, which is infinite, a small part of it has become this entire universe and multiverses. And rest of it is as it is. Means nothing has happened. Just little bit. That is a creation. The whole infinite consciousness is as it is. Same as when we see an ocean, the surface, there are so many waves. Creation of waves happens on the surface. But deep down, nothing has happened. It is still. So this consciousness is where everything is. If there is a pot and we say there is water inside pot, and there is water outside the pot also, then what will it mean? Huh? Pot is in the water. When we say from the standpoint of the pot, we say water is inside, water is outside. But actually speaking, the fact is pot is in the water. Similarly, this entire universe, all these beings are pervaded by consciousness. So consciousness, is it only inside the body? If it is pervaded, means just outside the body is there consciousness? It may not exhibit or it may not express as life. Last chapter we took this example of electricity and the light bulbs and all. Where there is light, there is electricity. But where there is no light also, there is electricity. It is not imperative on the electricity that wherever you go, you have to glow. Glowing is the job of the bulb. So similarly, where there is this bulb is there, little bit glow comes. 0 watt, 0.5 watt, like that, something happens intermittently. But outside, there is no bulb, but there is the flow of electricity. Similarly, this manifests life, this expresses life. So consciousness expresses as life through this body because this instrument is available here. There is no instrument available, so there is no expression called life, but consciousness is there. So if consciousness is within and without, what does it mean? I exist in consciousness. I means when I am identified with the body, mind, intellect. In each individual, each one of us, we exist in consciousness. Second statement. So what exists in consciousness? First statement was consciousness pervades this world, which includes BMI. BMI, body, mind, intellect. Now, if I say the second statement, everything is in consciousness. What is that everything? With respect to the first statement, what is that everything? Everything means that Jagat means all body, mind, intellect, all the bodies, all the minds, all the intellects, everything is in consciousness. Everything is in consciousness means it all depends on consciousness for its existence, also for its functioning. Also, without consciousness, none of it can function. When that touch of life leaves the body, we cremate, bury, or whatever we dispose it of. The touch of life is important for even life to manifest. Where is this? That consciousness is exhibiting, expressing as life also. If there is no consciousness, there is no existence. Things cannot exist. Not even as a non-living being, also non-living thing. Also, this thing exists because consciousness is there. Because existence and consciousness are not two different things. Because if they are two different, then consciousness would be non-existent, and existence would be inert, which would be against its own nature of being existence. So, everything that is known as this is in consciousness. Second statement, both in terms of cause and effect, consciousness, cause, world, effect, and it is dependent on the consciousness for its existence. Second statement. Third statement, what is the third statement? I, the consciousness, am not in this world, this BMI. In means here, what is the standpoint? Dependence. Consciousness is not dependent on body, mind, intellect, on the world for its existence. But without consciousness, none of this can exist. So these two statements, the third and second and the third statement, Matsthani Sarva Bhutani, means they are in me. Nachaham Teshu Avastitaha, I am not in them. This, they are in me, I am not in them, who Gurudev used to make all of us repeat again and again and again whenever he would take either the 7th chapter or the 9th chapter, he would make us all repeat. They are in me, I am not in them. Everything is in me means this body, mind, intellect is dependent on me for its existence. I don't depend on it. Now, maximum problems, sorrow, etc., come to us from where? It is not from the world outside. It is actually our mind which creates maximum problem. Because when we are sleeping, even a dog is barking outside my window, I have no problem. When I am awake, only it becomes a problem for me. Otherwise, there is no problem. I don't even know what is happening. So this is mind only. Maximum problems it creates. Of course, physical diseases are there, so many things, but this mind creates so much of problem. If we just remind ourselves, they are in me, I am not in them. This mind is in me, I am not in the mind. Means what? The mind depends on me for its existence. It is given so much of importance, it is able to make me dance because I have given it so much of power. Actually speaking, it has no power other than me. If I reclaim my power, mind can't do anything. It has to just obey my instructions. But I have given it so much of importance that it is not able to. So we feel that this is such a big problem. Big problem till when? When we look at the problem. But when we look at its cause, its foundation, its support, its substratum, when we look at the consciousness, then it is minuscule. This is what in the language of devotion is said that don't go and tell God how big your problem is. Go to the problem and say how big your God is. So it is not giving importance to this, but the perspective changes. They are in me, I am not in them. Then whether it is worldly, any problem, whether it is relationships, whether it is social problem, financial problem, any cultural problem, political problem, whatever it may be, we reclaim our power. I am not saying that we should not do anything to solve the problem. We are able to do anything to solve the problem when the mind is calm, and the mind is able to be calm only when we take our power back. Otherwise, we get carried away. We are so agitated, we are not able to look at the problem as it is. We don't even recognize what is the problem. Sometimes, when we look at it, that's when we realize it's not that big, it's not that complicated, it's okay. I was unnecessarily complicating my life. So, when I am able to remind myself, they are in me, I am not in. They are in me, I am not in. This becomes power. And from the highest knowledge standpoint, here Bhagavan is saying that this entire universe is in me, is dependent on me. I am not dependent. So, whether creation or no creation, consciousness doesn't have any problem. It is ever existing. Three statements clear. Fourth one, tomorrow we'll do. 2 cups of tea required. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ